Good morning, students. Today the topic for lecture is transport of CO2. So carbon dioxide is produced at 200 ml per minute under healthy conditions. 80 molecules of CO2 will be expired by the lung for every 100 molecules of oxygen that enters capillary blood. The ratio of expired CO2 to oxygen uptake is referred as respiratory exchange ratio. The normal value is zero point 0.8, that is 80 upon 100, and this comes out to be 0.8. So when we talk about the transport of CO2, it is a three-step process: the diffusion of carbon dioxide in the blood, the transport of CO2 in the blood, and the release of carbon dioxide in the blood. So when we talk about the diffusion of carbon dioxide in the blood, we all know that intracellular PCO2 is 46 millimeter mercury, while the interstitial fluid has 45 millimeter mercury PCO2, and the arterial blood has 40 millimeter mercury, while venous blood has 45. So 46 minus 45, the tension gradient is 1 millimeter mercury between the intracellular CO2 and interstitial fluid. But this 1 millimeter mercury gradient is too much sufficient for this carbon dioxide to diffuse into the interstitial fluid, and from the interstitial fluid it runs into the arterial capillary blood, because the PCO2 there is only 40 millimeter mercury. So the CO2 from the cell diffuses into the interstitial fluid, and from the interstitial fluid it diffuses into the capillary blood and then to the venous blood. Even if the CO2 production is increased, still the intracellular PCO2 remains 46, because CO2 rapidly diffuses out of cell, and the rate of diffusion of CO2 is approximately 20 times that of oxygen. So once the CO2 diffuses into the capillary blood, it flows into the systemic venous system, and this venous system drains into superior vena cava and inferior vena cava and reaches the right atrium. Now coming to the transport of CO2 in the blood. So CO2 is transported in the blood in three forms: in the dissolved state, in the bicarbonate form, and in the carb amino form. So let's talk about the transport of CO2 in the dissolved form. Before this, I would like to tell you that how much CO2 travels in the blood. The venous blood contains 52 ml of CO2 when the PCO2 is 45 millimeter mercury, while the arterial blood contains 48 ml of CO2 when the PCO2 is 40 millimeter mercury. So if you subtract 52 minus 48, this comes out to be 4 ml. So if 100 ml of blood transports 4 ml of CO2, the cardiac output is 5 liter. If you convert it into ml, it is 5000 ml. So 100 ml was transporting 4 ml of CO2. The 5000 ml will transport 4 upon 100 into 5000, and this comes out to be 200 ml per minute. So the total CO2 transported from the whole body tissue cells at rest with cardiac output of 5 liter per minute is 200 ml per minute. Now this 200 ml is transported in the blood in three forms. First, in the dissolved state, which constitutes 7%. Then in the bicarbonate form, which is the major route of the transport of CO2, and it comprises 70% of the total transport. And third is in the carb amino form, and that forms the 23%. So let's talk about the dissolved state. a small portion of CO2, that is only 7%, is transported in the dissolved form. So, if we see that at PCO2 of 45 millimeter mercury in venous blood, we have 2.7 ml per deciliter of CO2, whereas the arterial blood has 2.4 ml at 40 millimeter mercury. So 2.7 minus 2.4 forms the 0.3 ml. So this is 0.3 ml is transported by each 100 ml of blood flow. So if we see, only 7% of all CO2 is transported by this form. Then comes the second important form, that is the bicarbonate form. The 70% of carbon dioxide is transported as bicarbonate form. You can see, as the CO2 enters the blood, most of the CO2 enters into the RBC. Inside the RBC, carbon dioxide combines with water to form carbonic acid. And you know that carbonic anhydrase enzyme is present which takes care of this reaction. This carbonic acid dissociates into hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. The bicarbonate ion immediately diffuses out of the RBC into the plasma and reacts with sodium in the plasma to form sodium bicarbonate. Now this bicarbonate in the form of sodium bicarbonate will be transported up to the lung. The H ion released in this reaction is neutralized by deoxyhemoglobin, which is a weaker acid. Now an important phenomena, the Hamburger phenomena, also known as chloride shift, occurs. As the bicarbonate ion diffuses out of RBC into the plasma, the inside RBC becomes less negative. So, a positively charged cation should move out or a negative anion should move in. Now what happens? RBC is impermeable to a positively charged cation. So to neutralize the effect of bicarbonate moving out of RBC, a chloride ion has to move inside the RBC, and this is called chloride shift or the Hamburger phenomena. This process is mediated by anion exchanger AE1, also called as bend 3. The chloride shift is rapid and gets completed within 1 second. For each carbon dioxide which enters RBC, there is an increase in one osmotically active particle, bicarbonate or chloride ion. So RBCs take up the water and swell up, and this is the reason why chloride concentration inside the venous blood RBC is more. This is also the reason that why hematocrit of venous blood is more. The PCV, the packed cell volume of venous blood is approximately 3% higher, and venous RBCs are more fragile than arterial RBCs. Now let's see how does now this the remaining 23% is transported in the form of carbaminohemoglobin. It combines with the hemoglobin inside the RBC with the amino acids. Now we will discuss the release of carbon dioxide in the lungs. The carbon dioxide is released from the carbaminohemoglobin into the plasma. The oxygen diffuses from alveoli where the PO2 is 104 to the capillary blood where the PO2 is 40 millimeter mercury. The oxygen enters RBC and converts deoxyhemoglobin to oxyhemoglobin. Now this oxyhemoglobin which is formed has a very low affinity for CO2. So CO2 is released from carbaminohemoglobin which diffuses into the plasma. Now let's study how the release of carbon dioxide from bicarbonate occurs. Now the oxyhemoglobin has formed and it is a strong acid. So there is a result in increased H ion. To neutralize this, the bicarbonate diffuses into the RBC. The H ion and the bicarbonate react again to form H2O and CO2. Again, the carbonic anhydrase takes care of this reaction. Now, the carbon dioxide diffuses into the plasma. Here, there also occurs a phenomena which is known as the reversal of chloride shift. With the movement of bicarbonate into the RBC, the interior of RBC becomes more negative. So, to neutralize, either a positive charge should move into the RBC or a negatively charged ion should flow out of the RBC. Again, since RBC is relatively impermeable to the positive ions, so the chloride ion returns from the RBC into the plasma, and this is known as the reversal of chloride shift. Now, the plasma PCO2 is 45 millimeter mercury, while the alveolar PCO2 is 40 millimeter mercury. The gradient is of 5 millimeter mercury, and due to this pressure gradient, the carbon dioxide diffuses from the plasma or the blood to the alveoli. Due to constant ventilation, the carbon dioxide from alveoli is transported to the outside. Now we need to study one important phenomena, that is Haldane effect. When the oxygen binds with hemoglobin, it forms oxyhemoglobin, which results or helps in the transport of CO2 in the blood. Oxyhemoglobin is a stronger acid. So acidic hemoglobin has a less tendency to bind with CO2 to form carbaminohemoglobin. So displacing more and more of CO2. So you see, and one more thing, the increased acidity of hemoglobin causes it to release an excess of H ion. This H ion is needed to be neutralized, so bicarbonate from the plasma moves into the RBC, combines with H ion and forms water and CO2, and then this CO2 is gradually released into the alveoli. So in this topic, you actually need to understand the chloride shift or the Hamburger phenomena, the Haldane effect, and the transport of CO2 in the form of bicarbonate is the most important topic which is need to be learned. क्वेश्चन जो आता है वो यूजुअली ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑफ CO2 इन दी बाइकार्बोनेट फॉर्म पर ही आता है, या छोटे छोटे शॉर्ट नोट्स आते हैं क्लोराइड शिफ्ट और रिवर्स क्लोराइड शिफ्ट or the Haldane effect. With this, we finish the transport of CO2 in the blood. Thank you.